Section 1.4 is on pairs of angles. So adjacent angles are two angles in the same plane with a common vertex and a common side, but no common interior points. So over here in this picture, we have angles 1 and 2, and they are adjacent because they are sharing the vertex O, and they are also sharing this side of the angle. So they have that in common. A linear pair is a pair of adjacent angles whose non-common side are opposite rays, or also they form a straight line when put together. So over here in this picture, angles A and B are a linear pair because they form a straight line. So for example 1, it says tell whether the angles are only adjacent, and form a linear pair, or not adjacent. So the first ones we're going to look at is angles 1 and 2. So right here and right here. And those are definitely adjacent. They are sharing that middle ray. And they are not linear because they don't form a straight line. So we would just say adjacent for these two. Angles 2 and 4, erase those, are here and here. Those are not adjacent because they don't share a common side. So this angle here, this angle here. So not adjacent for those two. And not only do they not share a common side, they don't share a vertex either. So that's another reason why they're not adjacent. Angles 1 and 3 here and here are adjacent. They share this common side here, and they are also linear because they form a straight line together. They form this line together. So adjacent and linear. And then two more vocab words. Complementary angles are two angles whose measure have a sum of 90 degrees, which means they add up to be 90. And supplementary angles are two angles whose measures have a sum of 180. So complementary add together to be a right angle, supplementary add together to be a straight line. So example 2 here says, find the measure of each of the following. And the first one is the complement of K. So if it's complementary to K, it's going to make a 90-degree angle. So we are going to have to do 90 minus the 58.62. And when we do that, we are going to get 31.38. So the complementary angle to angle K would be 31.38 degrees. For part B, we're going to find the supplement of angle N. So that means we have to figure out what would add up to be 180 degrees with this angle N. So to do that, we would take 180 and we would minus what we know, which is 2x minus 10. And then if we simplify that, we have to combine like terms. So 180 minus 10 would give us 170, and then we have that minus 2x. So the supplementary angle to this would be 170 minus 2x degrees. Next, for example 3, we are going to have to find an angle measures 3 degrees less than twice the measure of its complement. Find the measure of its complement. So we are going to have angle, let's say A. Angle A is going to be x degrees, and the other angle is going to be 3 degrees less than twice the measure of its complement. So twice the measure would be 2 times. The complement would be 90 minus x, because if they're complementary, they would be 90 degrees, and minusing the other angle, and then 3 degrees less than that. So what we have to do is solve for x. So x would equal 2 times 90 minus x, and then minus 3. So in order to solve for x here, we're going to have to simplify on this side, and we are going to distribute that 2. So we're going to have x equals 2 times 90 is 180, and 2 times negative x would be minus 2x, and then we have that minus 3. And then simplify like terms, 180 minus 3 would be 177 minus 2x. And then we would add 2x to both sides to get rid of that, and we would end up with 3x equals 177. And we would have to divide both sides by 3, and we would get 59. So the angle, an angle measures 3 degrees less than twice the measure of its complement. Find the measure of its complement. So, and then we would have to plug that back in. If one angle is 59, the complement would be 90 minus that angle measure. So 90 minus 59 is 31 degrees. So the complement of that angle would be 31. And then for example 4, the light passing through a fiber optic cable reflects off the walls in such a way that the measure of angle 1, and my symbols did not download into Kami, the measure of angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Angle 1 and angle 3 are complementary, and angle 2 and angle 4 are complementary. If the measure of angle 1 is 38 degrees, so this down here is 38, find the measure of angles 2, 3, and 4. So they told us that the measure of angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. So angle 2 would be the same thing as 1, so angle 2 would be 38. And then we have to find the measure of angle 3. And if we look, here's the measure of angle 3, here's angle 3. 1 and 3 together form a right angle. So the measure of angle 3 would be 90 minus 38. And that would be 52 degrees. And then we have to find the measure of angle 4. And angle 4 would be complementary to angle 2. 2 and 4 would form a right angle. So I would think that angle 3 and angle 4 are congruent, since angles 1 and 2 are as well. So angle 4 would be 52